When I ask successful distribution company executives about the sweet spots in their market, they readily provide a confident answer. The problem with the answer is that it is usually incorrect, or at best, partially correct. A detailed analytic look at their customer base shows that some market segments are overrated by them, some underrated, and others are ignored or undetected altogether. While I believe these executives sincerely believe their answer, there are several reasons why their answer is at variance with the data about the customer base. The first is shifting market conditions, such as a downturn or upturn that change where the sweet spots are. With the recent upturn in distribution, some of the segments that were strong prior to the downturn have come back, but others have remained down. The second reason is that many executives have exposure to only a limited portion of their customer base, often the largest customers. As a result, they mistake the set of customers they have visited as being representative of the rest of the market. Finally, many executives know generally which market segments are attractive. However, they are unfamiliar with the subsegments, so it's difficult to take meaningful action based on an imprecise classification of customers. Simply put, one cannot tell who the players are without a scorecard. As Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize winner in economics, says, even statisticians are not very good informal statisticians. This is all the more true for executives who may have limited statistics background. A key premise in this approach is to build on success that you are already having in the market. And to do that, you have to be able to accurately identify where that success really is. Relying on an analyst report that predicts general trends in the market may not apply specifically to your company for one reason or another. By choosing good segments with this approach that we're advocating, you can reduce cost of customer acquisition and radically increase customer lifetime value. Let's look at how customer firmographic data, the specific characteristics of a company, combined with distributor transaction information, can be used to get sales quick hits in market sweet spots based on customer line of business. Line of business information can come from a standard industrial code or an NAICS data code. It can also come directly from information providers such as Dun & Bradstreet, who have their own industry taxonomy. The example we have here shows revenue volume on the horizontal axis and compounded annual growth on the vertical axis for a company that sells very high-tech office equipment. Before analyzing the data, they believed that their best segments were retail stores and manufacturing. However, the analysis showed that wholesale trade and services each have higher annual growth rates than retail trade and manufacturing. In addition, wholesale trade had higher volume than retail trade, and services had higher volume than manufacturing. Further analysis revealed that although there were many retail clients, most were small customers who were receiving deep and unnecessary discounts. So this distributor was not only able to determine where to apply more sales and marketing efforts, but also to reduce superfluous discounts. When determining the size of a company, we typically look at annual revenue and the number of employees. The reason we look at both variables has to do with the reliability of data, either directly from the customer or from third-party sources such as Dun & Bradstreet, InfoUSA, or Axiom. Most companies are more likely to report their number of employees than their annual revenue. In our example, analysis of the size data showed that the high-tech office equipment distributor had much better success with small companies that have less than 5 million revenue and fewer than 50 employees. Based on this, we recommended further focus of their inside sales group to specialize on the small business segment with a smaller set of products as a means to reduce cost of acquisition and cost to serve. Year of founding may not seem to be an obvious indicator to everyone, but our work has shown it to be a powerful segmentation variable in every case we have analyzed. There's not a clear-cut trend, however, for how it correlates to each company. For example, you might think older companies are not always better prospects. In the example shown here, the highest volume segment for the distributor is companies that were founded in the 1980s. For distributors who sell specifically to OEMs, we have seen a trend that newer, but not the newest, customers are the best prospects. With one distributor who sells to high-tech companies, their best prospects were founded between 2001 and 2005. Yet, their worst prospects were founded between 2006 and 2010. For this distributor, there's a balance in finding OEMs who are new enough to need the distributor's high-tech components, but old enough to be successfully selling in market. For another distributor of green products, their best segments are companies that are environmentally conscious. This includes new millennium companies, as well as churches and schools that were formed before 1950. Besides its strong predictive value, the year of founding is something that almost all prospects will divulge, even with pride. The examples that we have shown so far are all focused on a single firmographic variable. It is often useful to work with two variables, for example, line of business and customer revenue. The precision of two-variable analysis is more actionable whether the goal is wallet share expansion or new customer acquisition. For small and medium-sized distributors, three-variable analysis tends to be too complex and the segments too small to have statistical relevance. The best way to get quick sales hits is to know where the sweet spots are and to replicate that success. The examples that we've included do not require a degree in statistics to understand. Insights leap off the page to even the casual observer. Make sure to use segmentation to rapidly reduce cost of customer acquisition and to increase customer lifetime value.